It's Kevin McCullough on AM 970, The Answer.
You're listening to Kevin McCullough Radio. Big show for you today, friends. The second lady of the United States, Karen Pence, and second daughter, Charlotte Pence, join us in studio. Also, Dr. Gina Loudon and David Fisher before we're done.
And here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Obliterating confusion.
Amplifying truth.
And pursuing clarity.
Kevin McCullough, now.
We'll have a wide-ranging conversation with the Pence ladies. What's it like to be a second daughter, living partly in the madness that is Washington, D.C., and also, what is it like to be the second lady and to deal with so many controversial angles from this administration? Stay with us. It's Kevin McCullough. Karen and Charlotte Pence join me now.
Binge thinking.
Kevin McCullough.
Something interesting is happening with this.
Kevin McCullough, let me start with you.
I found this thing at townhall.com by Kevin McCullough. The big dog has come out of nowhere.
Kevin McCullough,
I just want to help people think.
nationally syndicated radio host and author of No He Can't.
He's playing the role as well as anybody could.
Kevin McCullough is a nationally syndicated radio host and author of No He Can't.
The odds are he's right.
It's Kevin McCullough Radio.
It's Kevin McCullough. We're glad to have you back, and we've got some very special guests in the studio. In fact, the Pence family is somebody that I've not only championed and worked for, in a matter of speaking, in years past when Congressman Pence was leading the charge in the House of Representatives for all the family's values-oriented issues that I cared about. But then he became a very successful governor in Indiana. And now, of course, he's the vice president of the United States. And so Karen and Charlotte Pence are with us today. We're talking about this beautiful new children's book, A Day in the Life of the Vice President. And it's Marlon Bundo's Bunny. You may see that up here. And Charlotte, of course, the author, and Karen, the illustrator. So now I was looking up online. You're the second lady of the United States. Mm-hmm. That's the correct title.
Right.
So what are you, Charlotte Pence?
I guess I'm the second daughter. I don't know. I'm one of the second daughters.
It's one of those weird, like, extended family, like first cousin, third time removed kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, well, you can't be, obviously, first daughter because that would be the president's children.
Right.
But would you be the second daughter if you had more than one daughter?
Yeah.
I
think I'm a second daughter. Right. Yeah.
One of the second daughters.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, first of all, welcome to Kevin McCullough Radio. We're glad to have you here. So the idea of writing a book and illustrating it together, talk about this, Karen, from the standpoint of a family. What made you want to do this?
Well, I think it really Marlon kind of was the impetus for writing the book. He became famous when he came off of Air Force Two. For some reason, people got very excited that the second family had a bunny.
As opposed to a puppy or a cat.
Yes, which we have as well.
Is this the first bunny in vice presidential?
I think it's the first bunny in the vice presidential, but there have been bunnies in the White House before. But anyway, so Charlotte thought it would be fun to start an Instagram account, and now Marlon has over 18,000 followers. And then she is a writer, and so she thought, well, let's write a book about, with Marlon Bundo being the character.
Sure.
And I think her goal was to make it some type of an educational book, because the role of the vice president has a lot of moving parts to it that people aren't aware of. And so that was the idea. And she says I'm the only illustrator she ever thought of. So I'm grateful for that.
True.
Why is that the case, Charlotte?
I think I always thought of us doing it together. It just made sense. My mom's obviously a watercolor artist, but she's been doing watercolors my entire life. So it just made a lot of sense for
Does the Pence home have a lot of your artwork hanging on the walls?
It does.
Yeah, she's painted every house we've ever lived in.
Now you're touching a personal chord with me, because my mom, who we lost to cancer a number of years ago, painted my entire childhood. And we didn't have a lot of money, and we weren't very influential, but she made gifts for everyone. And when we were at her funeral, they put several tables of her artwork next to the casket, and people, I just forgot how far-reaching. So that's very, very cool that you have that as like the real thing. But I interrupted you. So you thought, Mom's the natural choice for this.
I did. I mean, I think we kind of came up with the idea together. Like she said, it started with Marlon and his Instagram page. And then we both kind of said, we just sat down one day and said, let's come up with some ideas.
Yeah. Obviously, being a bunny in the vice presidential residency in life is quite unique story take. Yeah. How much of what Marlon Bundo is going through is just what Charlotte sees in her eyes in terms of the life of her family every day, and what are we learning about you in the process of Marlon's life?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I definitely, I see my dad on a public scale because, obviously he's in the public eye, but then I also see him in a private scale too, and Marlon kind of has that point of view and that perspective. I mean, in the book, he's there in the morning when my dad gets his coffee from the naval enlisted aides that work at the house. He's at the, with the press corps that travels with my dad. He's at the Senate, the White House, and then at the end of the day, he's with my dad. And my dad's, saying a prayer and reading his Bible before bed. So I see all those things, yeah.
Very, very cool. Why do you want to write kids' books? I mean, if you're a writer, what was it about a children's book that grabbed your imagination?
It's always been a passion of mine, actually. I really like children's books and middle grade books. I like books and movies that are made for kids but apply to adults as well and have those deeper themes. So it's just something that I've always wanted to do. What
was Charlotte's childhood favorite kids' book?
Oh, man. Well, my favorite book of all time is A Wrinkle in Time.
Okay.
So I'm excited to see the movie. And
I've heard the real book lovers are not going to be super pleased
with how
it came out. So
I'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then, the Narnia books were my favorites. My dad read those to me. So,
sure.
Yeah.
How old were you when he read Narnia? I'm just curious.
I don't know. How old was I? Maybe 4th or 5th grade?
I would say
we worked our way in the McCullough household through the first 3 books, and mine are currently 7, 5, and 3. It was only the 7 and 5-year-old that were reading each night, about a chapter at a time, and it was a dose that they could handle.
Yeah.
But it was
heavy.
C.S. Lewis was fabulous with the pictures that he painted with words.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What do you like most about your dad being vice president?
I lived at home for the first year of the administration. So I had graduated from school, so I was working part-time and remotely. So I got to live there. So, probably just all the people that we've been able to meet and all, being able to travel really all over the world and have those experiences.
A lot different than the governor's job in Indiana.
Yeah, a bit different on a different scale, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Karen, a lot of questions that I know my listeners will have for you. And again, thanks for coming in. And it's just congratulations on the project. I think it's going to be hugely successful.
Thank you.
When that famous meeting went down and your husband had to announce that he was going to endorse someone in the presidential race, were you nervous that things could go one way or the other in that moment? And did you ever see, after he said Cruz, and I was a Cruz guy in the primary, and I was very glad to see Mike go that direction, but when he said it, did you ever think at that moment, oh, we're going to be in the White House just a little more than a year from now?
No, absolutely not. We absolutely did not see that. We were running for re-election as governor.
Right.
The funny thing is sometimes you've got to hear the president tell that story because it is hysterical, and he reminds us all the time and teases
I don't see him doing that. I don't see him remembering things and kind of rubbing it in later.
He's really adorable the way he does it, though. Yeah. It's really cute. Yeah. But no, we had no inkling at all that this was in the cards. This is not something we were running for, even thinking about.
Sure. But when he did come back to you, and it was down to just a couple of people, and he spent, I think, a pretty famous weekend in Indiana talking to you guys, and the cameras were there when he came out and so forth. What was the discussion between you and the vice president in terms of what God could do, or what the historic need for this moment would be, and what were some of the weighting factors that made you guys say, yeah, we're gonna step up at this time?
Well, and Mike tells it beautifully, because he was never in the military. His dad was in the military. Our son is in the military. And he counts it as one of the regrets of his life that he never served in the military. And he said, I would like to think that I would be willing to give my life for my country, so I am willing to give up my job as governor to run on the ticket for vice president.
Now, every day when he comes home, does he still feel that way?
He still does. I mean, we at our home, we feel like our lives are not our own.
Right.
And if God calls us to something or raises us up into a position, we're ready to serve.
That's the voice of Karen Pence, my exclusive guest in studio. Also, second daughter, Charlotte Pence, is with us. And ladies, I'm so, again, thankful that you can be here with us today. Coming right back with more of this exclusive sit-down. The book is simply titled Marlon Bundo's Day in the Life of the Vice President. You can get it at Amazon and any fine book seller. It is a Regnery publication. We're very proud of that around the Salem household. Anyway, Kevin McCullough coming right back.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer.
If you're trying to get out of town as quickly as possible this afternoon, there's no quick way. I'm just going to tell you that flat out. But the one place you don't want to be is the Holland Tunnel. That's close to an hour delay going back to New Jersey. 10 to 15 on the city-bound side. If you head upstream to the Lincoln Tunnel, depending on the approach, it's anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. 15 minutes from 11th Avenue coming south and make that left on the 40th Street. That's probably the best way out of Dodge at this point. 30 minutes away from 9th Avenue. City-bound GW Bridge upstairs and down, really not bad. Now, if you're trying to get to the outbound George Washington Bridge, northbound West Side Highway will be heaviest from 125th Street on up. FDR Drive northbound slows from the 30s up into the RFK Triborough, and again 150s to the George Washington Bridge. Westbound Cross Bronx, jammed up Westchester Avenue on over, and the Deacon northbound slows RFK Triborough all the way up towards Van Cortlandt Park with a couple of accidents along the way. Southbound, we're looking at delays from Fordham Road down into the Cross Bronx. In New Jersey, southbound Turnpike Eastern Spur just south of 16E. That's a crash being cleared. Western Spur heavy 18 to 15W. And now you know how not to go. I am Mike Barker on AM 970, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher explains why Trump's approval rating is going up.
Phony, plastic, fake politicians just read scripts. They're not real. They're not authentic. This is what is so appealing to so many people about President Trump. His authentic delivery, his authentic self.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 10, right before Dennis Prager at 1 on AM 970. The Answer.
Hey friends, Kevin McCullough. If you're feeling run down, don't have energy, it's because you're not eating the fruits and the veggies and getting the energy that they should be giving you the way you should, that you're supposed to. And that's why it's time to try Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in capsule form. They're not like vitamins with synthetics. These are natural food in a capsule, and they use the whole food. They got vital nutrients because they use 100% of the plant, the seed, the stems, fruits, veggies. It's all there. It's whole food nutrition. Each capsule has 10 servings of fruits and veggies. And once you start taking Balance of Nature, you're going to feel great. People report their skin looks better. They've got less aches and pains. But forget about that. If you're fighting the cold, the allergies, the flu, I'm telling you, it has worked wonders in my family's life. And I can tell you 100%, I do not miss a day taking Balance of Nature. It's time to improve the quality of your life, so get started now. Call Balance of Nature. They've got an offer you can't beat. 800-246-8751. Use promo code The Answer. You're going to get 35% off your first month's supply. Go to balanceofnature.com. Make sure you use the promo code The Answer. Good health is only a phone call away. You hear them say it all the time. Balance of Nature. 800-246-8751. 800-246-8751. The promo code is The Answer. It's 800-246-8751. 800-246-8751. Hi, Kevin McCullough. Another AM 970 Business Networking Breakfast is happening on Thursday, April the 19th at the Wanacue Academic Center at Passaic County Community College, right off 287. Come for networking and a gourmet breakfast provided by DR Catering. Steve Adubato will be moderating a panel discussion where you'll learn important business advice from industry experts. And Joe Piscopo and the morning team will be broadcasting live 6 to 10 a.m. from the college. Register for your free tickets to the Salem Business Breakfast on April the 19th at am970theanswer.com.
Hello, beautiful. I'm Amy Errett, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I named after my daughter. When I named this company after Madison, it was a vow on my part to create a company that she would be proud of, that does hair color right and gives women what they deserve. We believe in beautiful, naturally healthy-looking hair and that all women can achieve that. Experience beautiful, multi-dimensional, ammonia-free, salon-quality, at-home hair color for under $25. We believe confident is the new beautiful. So we've done our job if you feel on top of the world unstoppable with your new hair color. Join the hundreds of thousands of women who have tried and loved Madison Reed. Find your perfect shade at madison-reed.com and get 10% off plus free shipping on your first color kit. Use code GREATHAIR123. That's code GREATHAIR123. Try it. Love it. That's the beauty of Madison Reed.
Breaking news and local news. Find it on our website, am970theanswer.com. Breaking news as it happens. You're listening to Kevin McCullough Radio.
Hi, Kevin McCullough. We're talking exclusively in studio with the Second Lady of the United States and one of the second daughters, Karen Pence and Charlotte Pence. And the book is adorable. You've got to get it. Marlon Bundo's Money, A Day in the Life of the Vice President. It will be something your kids will really enjoy, and I hope you do pick it up. But Second Lady, thank you for being here. And I want to follow up. One of the more controversial things that you guys have faced as a couple is questions about the Pence rules. And you took shots from late-night comedians about it, but I wanted to know how you guys responded to it.
It's kind of surprising that people are so interested in it. I mean, from us at home, we're kind of like,
That's just the way life is.
I don't know why people are so interested in that. But it's really something that, we have a lot of great discussions at our house and great debates over policy and life and faith. And we've trained our kids, not trained them, but raised them to be able to express themselves. And so for us, it's not something that we're like afraid of or offended by. It's like, well, good, this is a great discussion.
Sure.
So let each family can kind of talk about things and decide what they want to on their own. I think one of the things that, we wanted to do was we wanted there never to be the appearance of impropriety, and we never wanted to put a female on the spot that they had to go have dinner with
and
Mike.
And there can't be an
especially.
appearance of it if you don't allow the appearance to take place.
But again, that's for every. I mean, we certainly wouldn't want to impose any of that on anybody.
No. I get that. In fact,
really?
I was very supportive of. And I did not know he had made that decision. And it was quite a while ago that he did. It was just
years
recently
ago.
that it came out.
Yeah.
Charlotte, as a young woman, that discussion with your parents hit the headlines just within a blink of the Me Too issue taking off. Yeah. And as a young professional woman out working and doing your thing now, what did you find yourself in any interesting conversations about bad behavior in culture with men versus what your dad had modeled for you all those years and kind of the common sense element of that?
Well, I think it was interesting timing in a way. Again, I think it's everyone's personal decision. And, of course, there are industries where I feel like, people do have dinners a lot, but, having them maybe with 3 people, I think has been something that was even discussed in a lot of companies after when this Me Too movement happened. I don't know personally. I haven't had personal conversations with people about that, but I think that people also thought, okay, if we have a rule of 3 or something like that, then it actually promotes diversity too, because then we're including more people in the conversation, so that it's just a level of fairness. So I think it was interesting. I mean, as a daughter, I've always admired my parents for that. That value that they had, years and years ago, way before it became public. So, it was interesting to watch for sure.
As you have watched your parents live life in the public policy arena, do you think that there's a desire that you have to serve in that capacity at some point in the future, or are you content kind of going in a different direction and making your contributions otherwise? I
don't know. There are definitely issues that I feel strongly about. I don't really see myself being very politically active, but you never know. Where life's going to take you. But I'm definitely more on the creative side, the writing and filmmaking, and even making documentaries, kind of getting messages across through that medium. But yeah, I don't know. You never know.
That's increasingly an important thing. Yeah. Everyone's using media, and now with your iPhone, everybody's a media master. What do you like? It's
kind of interesting, though, growing up. It's, in our family, we have a lot of people who are comfortable being out in front of the camera, and Charlotte always was comfortable being the storyteller, being the one behind the camera. I think that was the motivation behind the Marlon Bundo book, is that she wanted to she likes being the creative one behind the scenes more than out front, in front of the camera.
Yeah. Which is what we're talking about, by the way. And if you're just joining us, it is now on bookshelves, and you can get it at your favorite book outlet, Amazon.com, of course. A Day in the Life of the Vice President, written by Charlotte Pence and illustrated by Karen Pence. Last round of questions. If you knew of a family coming after you that was going to be in your position, what would be a couple of pieces of advice that you would give them in advance of maybe even early days of public policy versus what you know now at the vice presidential level? But I'm fascinated by what you would tell people.
Well, and honestly, the Bidens were very, very sweet with us. They were very sweet during the transition. There was about a week there, and they let us get into the house a little earlier to paint and lay carpet, and they didn't have to do that. And Joe was very adorable when we just were giving our final hugs and they were getting in the limo. He said, "The pool's great. You're going to love the pool." And Jill had said similar things. Just enjoy this home. Make your memories here as a family. And they really did put their mark on the home, a family mark. There's a tree outside in the front yard that says, it has a swing, and there's a little plaque that says, "Joe loves Jill." And so little things like that, they encouraged us to make this home our own. And I think in this life where you are so exposed to, so much security, very little privacy. We don't drive anymore. You don't have those conversations you have in the car with your kids, anymore, or your spouse, because you have other people in the car with you. The home is really the place where you can have that privacy and that private space. So I think I would give really the same advice that the Bidens gave us, that, make that house really a haven for your family and for your family memories.
And that's what you said you've tried to do, is create
we really have,
a safe space not a safe space.
Yeah, just be ourselves.
But and I'm a big believer that all homes should be like that, actually.
Right.
Because there's enough horrible stuff out there trying to get at you every day as it is. And I know one thing I really appreciate about my bride is when I walk through the door, that stuff just melts away. My 3-year-old Charlotte grabs this knee, my 5-year-old Jonathan grabs the other knee, and then James comes and jumps on my back. And I'm going to be 50 in a couple of years. This is not getting any easier. So, I have so appreciated your willingness to come in and share your story. And Charlotte, congratulations on the book. I wrote 3. None of them are easy, and the fact that you've had such a good launch with this one is going to be fantastic. And I know 3 kids in the McCullough house would be very interested to take a look at A Day in the Life of Marlon Bundo's life. So maybe you can even sign one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But thanks for being here, and thanks for just living the way you're living, doing it the way you're doing it, and just keep being faithful to what God calls you to, because I know that no matter what else, if that's the game plan, then the outcome's going to be the right thing. So.
Thank you.
Second Lady Karen Pence and the Vice President's daughter.
There you go.
Charlotte Pence. It's Kevin McCullough. Thank you for being here.
News, opinion, passion. This is AM 970. The Answer.
We have generally clear skies and 46 degrees on this Monday evening. What's going on? We have the answer. Mayor de Blasio is weighing in on the allegations against Jared Kushner's family real estate company.
It's not acceptable to lie when you're filling out a form for the city government. If it proves to be true that they lied to evade regulation, they have a problem on their hands.
A tenants' rights group says Kushner's companies filed at least 80 false documents with New York City saying it had no rent-regulated tenants in its buildings, so they could be sold. Police are searching for people who fled from a BMW involved in a fatal hit-and-run early this morning in the Bronx. The incident comes a day after a new hit-and-run text alert law sponsored by New York City Councilman Yadinius Rodriguez went into effect.
Hit and run is an epidemic that is affecting our city, that we need to put the resources to eradicate it now.
A 28-year-old man was killed and a 24-year-old man was injured in the hit-and-run at 3rd Avenue near 181st Street. There are also reports that gunshots might have been fired prior to the incident. And forecasters are keeping a close watch on a spring nor'easter, our 4th of the month of March. that could bring anywhere from 3 inches to over a half a foot of snow to the tri-state area. The storm is expected to hit tomorrow night into Wednesday, and with rain, snow showers, and strong winds, we've been through this before, but one weather computer model has 1 to 3 inches of snow in and around the city, and another one has 6 to 9 inches of snow for New York City. So we'll have to see exactly what that model says tomorrow, and wait for the actual storm on Wednesday, which looks to be the brunt of it. In sports, basketball tonight, Knicks host the Bulls, the Nets host Memphis. Taking a look at the traffic, forget the Holland Tunnel. It's off limits, my friends, because I said it is. 45 minutes to an hour. You want nothing to do with that going back to New Jersey. Lincoln Tunnel, cut that in half for you. 20 to 30 minutes on the outbound side, and looks like the citybound side about a 20-minute delay as well. Taking a look at the forecast, partly cloudy skies tonight with an overnight low of 31. Mostly cloudy skies, chance of a snow shower tomorrow, especially south of the city, high 39. Snow likely on Wednesday, breezy too as our latest nor'easter moves in, high only 36. And now you know what's going on. I am Mike Barker on AM 970, The Answer.
Tired of dealing with dummies? Experience the smart way to buy a car at Route 22 Toyota. No hidden fees, no back and forth, no pressure, and no wasting time with dummies. Alex Cancella, the general manager, prides himself on his low lease offers and 0% APR financing for up to 72 months for qualified buyers. And now my buddy Alex wants you to experience their new smart way to service. He's taking the same smart approach that's been so successful in selling cars into the service bay. So he said, Joe, I'm going to let you give the first 5 callers in the next 5 minutes a free multi-point inspection and oil change and filter if they call 855-621-9949 and say Joe sent me. 855-621-9949 in the next 5 minutes. Get a free oil change and filter on me. 855-621-9949 and say this one's on Joe. Route 22 Toyota, Route 22 West in Hillside, New Jersey, or at Route22Toyota.com. Tell them Joe sent you for the free oil change. All European makes excluded.
From the creators of The Case for Christ.
All these years, this church has been here. Now it's the crime scene.
The church has brought nothing but controversy to the school for years.
When we are divided, we must remember what we stand for.
We cannot respond to hate with more hate.
This Easter, in the darkness, we are called to be the light.
Without grace is our goal. We're just fighting.
God's Not Dead, A Light in Darkness, starring David A.R. White and John Corbett. In theaters March 30th, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Go to godsnotdead.com.
This is Michael Riedel of the New York Post and host of On the Town on AM 970 The Answer, Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. One of my favorite plays of all time is Edward Albee's Three Tall Women, and it has been revived on Broadway. It's in previews now at the Golden Theater, starring Glenda Jackson, coming back to Broadway after many years away. She is co-starring with Laurie Metcalf and Allison Pill. This is a fascinating play by Edward Albee, Three Tall Women. It's on Broadway for a strictly limited engagement. It's now in previews, and get your tickets at telecharge.com for Three Tall Women.
Listen to us anywhere. TuneIn.com, iHeartRadio.com. Get the app at AM970theanswer.com. What you need to know when you need it. It's Kevin McCullough Radio.
Senator, is that helpful to Democrats in 2018 to have Hillary Clinton dismissing the 60 million plus voters who supported and elected Donald Trump, dismissed, some could say even condemned, as racists and misogynists?
No, it's not helpful at all. And in fact, my friend Hillary Clinton is wrong.
And for Dick, you know that it's like stabbing a fork through your temple for Dick Durbin to say that, because they don't break ranks on the other side very often. But something tells me that rank-and-file Democrats have had about enough of Hillary, and it's interesting to see what kind of foray she's going to continue to be given. One of the things they're criticizing about 2020 is the lack of a field to even run, and she is holding out the kind of the olive branch, like, hey, I'm still out here. And the way she's talking when she go to these places, it's like she's in campaign mode. Does this woman think she's actually going to run again? 0 for 3? That would be something, wouldn't it? Dr. Gina Loudon is with us every Monday, and we're always glad to get her thoughts on these types of things. Dr. Gina, welcome back. She said in this non-apology apology that she said, she basically said, I'm sorry that I hurt some people's feelings. And then she went off right back to the white women thing, doubled down again. Evidently, if you're a white woman, you have no brain. And she's never met my wife and most of my wife's friends, I might add. because if anybody was going to tell somebody who to vote for in our house, it wouldn't be me telling her. So
yeah, Kevin, send your checks to the Clinton Foundation.
That's right.
Because we need Hillary to stay on it. We want her campaigning for the Democrats in the midterms and in 2020. Please, Hillary, don't go away.
Well, she says that she's so sorry that she upset and offended by what people took away from it. But she said that all the claims of what she had to say about white women were exaggerated and overblown. Now, how does she get to that reality when you had so many people that were like, Hillary, I'm a white woman, and then there's this other thing. So then the Democrats also last week tried to say, oh, there's some truth to this, because the Washington Post put out some piece that said, like, oh, look, women generally do vote the same way as their husbands in a lot of cases. Could there possibly be any other explanation for that, Dr. Gina?
Well, I would think she would know, because I think somebody on Twitter that you actually retweeted said it best. And she said, Hillary, it wasn't my husband that convinced me to vote for Trump. It was your husband that convinced me to vote for Trump. And I thought, what a great response to all of the mishmash we're seeing coming out of her mouth and out of the DNC as they try to, extrapolate some level of dignity after all the things that Hillary has put their party through. But all you have to look at is their fundraising numbers at record lows compared to that of the RNC fundraisers at record high. And I can't help but notice Tom Perez running the DNC, and by the way, he's a guy. And let's see, running the RNC, we've got Rana, and we've got Kaylee out there, who you have on your show all the time as our mouthpiece. And by the way, we are setting records with fundraising at the Republican. It's been a long time since I even wanted to call myself a Republican, but I'll tell you what, they're slowly winning me back, and I think that a lot of Trump loyalists feel the same way.
There's another aspect to this, Dr. Gina, and it is more personal than I think either side, when Hillary was saying this, would even admit to, but it's not often that I have a large disagreement with my bride. Like, there's a reason why we're married to each other. We see the world in largely the same way. It is like with some of these feminists, if you don't march to their litmus test exclusively, even to the damning of your own marriage, you're just not a good woman. But a healthy marriage, man and wife are going to see a lot of things from the same perspective. If their relationship's healthy, would they not?
Kevin, you're completely misunderstanding the motivations here. To get votes in this country, they have to separate families. Families that are strong together often lean to the right for a lot of reasons, because they start to see the intrinsic value of biblical values and of things like marriage and things like family and things like children. But that goes against everything that the Democrat platform espouses at this moment. So they can't have strong families. They can't have strong values. They can't have lots of children being born to families, because immediately you start to care about things like legacy less than you care about free stuff. And they can't have it. They have to rely on division and free stuff.
Well, and that's why, even before Hillary said anything about this, it's a provable fact that the most reliable voter for the DNC is a single mom, and the most reliable voter for the RNC is a married mom. And it's that's just the way the stats break down. Anyway, Dr. Gina, so Mr. Loudon didn't tell you who you had to vote for this last time, I'm assuming.
No, and in fact, we were a little divided on it for a second, Kevin, but ultimately he came around.
He's swaying your way. I knew that was the case.
Wednesday afternoon, it's your information fast lane at AM 970, The Answer. Michael Medved blasts off at 3. Kevin McCullough, breaking news as it happens at 4. John Catsimatidis getting both sides of the story at 5. And Jay Sekulow, making news from the nation's capital at 6. Get your information super infusion every Wednesday. The stories you need and the analysis you trust. Only on AM 970, The Answer.
Hi, Kevin McCullough. New York is nearly impossible to afford. And just when Washington cuts our taxes, Governor Cuomo's budget would snatch that savings away from us. It makes life more expensive with $1 billion in taxes on everything from health care to online shopping. Reclaim New York initiative says enough is enough. Stop the lies. Stop the waste. Stop hiking taxes. Go to reclaimnynow.org. Tell your legislators. Stop the $1 billion tax bomb. reclaimnynow.org. Hi, Calvin McCullough. Another AM 970 Business Networking Breakfast is happening on Thursday, April the 19th at the Wanacue Academic Center at Passaic County Community College, right off 287. Come for networking and a gourmet breakfast provided by DR Catering. Steve Adubato will be moderating a panel discussion where you'll learn important business advice from industry experts. And Joe Piscopo and the morning team will be broadcasting live 6 to 10 a.m. from the college. Register for your free tickets to the Salem Business Breakfast on April the 19th at am970theanswer.com. Have you ever had a legal question pertaining to elder law or estate law and wondered what's the best course of action to take? During Kevin McCullough Radio, you'll hear from Mike Connors of Connors & Sullivan, Attorneys at Law, answering a real listener's actual question. If you have a legal question for Mike Connors, the Ask the Lawyer host, simply email the question to mikeconnors@gmail.com. That's mikeconnors@gmail.com. Or call Mike's office at 718-238-6500 and see for yourself. That's Ask the Lawyer with Mike Connors every Saturday evening at 6 on AM 970, The Answer.
Boss, there's a photographer out here who wants to do a piece on Jimmy John's for her magazine.
What kind of piece?
Well, she heard about a clothing optional delivery policy and...
Did you tell her the naked driver incident was a momentary misunderstanding?
Yes, sir, but...
Did you tell her it's our meats that are going all natural, not our drivers?
Yes, sir, that's not...
Did you tell her Jimmy John's is committed to serving sandwiches with only the finest all-natural ham, roast beef, salami, bacon, and real fresh turkey breast?
Yes, sir, I did, sir.
So she wants to photograph our sandwiches?
No, sir. Actually, she wants to do a calendar.
A what?
A calendar. You know, the men of Jimmy John's.
Dibs on January.
In an era where it's tough to know which news outlet to trust, at a time where it's difficult to find facts, not just opinion, there is an oasis in the news desert. It's the Cats Roundtable. John Catsimatidis, the personification of the American dream, who built a multi-billion-dollar business empire, talks with some of the nation's top newsmakers every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. You won't just hear partisan spin. You'll hear directly from the newsmakers who are shaping the news cycle in the city, the country, and the world. On the Cats Roundtable, you won't just hear about politics. You'll hear about science, business, education, animal rights, and any other topics that you're interested in. Catch the Cats Roundtable every Sunday morning, starting at 8:30, right after Morano in the Morning on AM 970. The Answer.
At CVS Pharmacy at Target, we put a little extra heart into everything we do, like actively looking to save you money. Generics, 90-day refills, even rewards. Get a $5 Target coupon for every 10 prescriptions. On your next Target run, stop by CVS Pharmacy. We're the place with the big heart. Not valid on all prescriptions, including those purchased in Arkansas, New Jersey, or New York. Other restrictions apply. See cvs.com/extracare-target or the pharmacy for details. CVS Pharmacy at Target. Health is everything.
Listen to Joe Piscopo in the morning, weekdays at 6. Mike Gallagher at 10 on AM 970. The Answer.
Look around, how lucky we are to be alive right now. Look around, how lucky we are to be alive right now. History is happening in Manhattan, and we just happen to be in the greatest city in the world. In the greatest city in the world.
If it's happening in New York or across the globe, learn why it matters first on Kevin McCullough Radio.
Sometimes what is happening across the globe is happening in New York on Kevin McCullough Radio. Like when you get the second lady and the second daughter in studio. I'm still kind of effervescing from their visit here just a second ago. It was such a cool thing. And friends, we weren't able to get all of their conversation on the air with us today. So on the Kevin McCullough podcast side, there's a thing called Features. That's our uninterrupted interviews with these newsmakers, and there's a new one that is up in place today, so you can check that out. But again, thanks to Second Lady Karen Pence and Charlotte for coming in studio. I hope you buy the book. It's a cute book. My kids are going to. My Jonathan, the animal lover in the house, he's going to read this thing 500 times in the next week. Anyway, so that's a lot of fun. And David Fisher, who, I've said this before. I need to say it again. I don't just give my vote of approval to just anybody when it comes, especially to stuff related to money. And David and I have developed a relationship over the last few years that I've really come to value, because I can even call him on the weekend and say, hey, what do you think about this? And he's been able to help advise in different ways. And David, I got word that last week one of my everyday guys, that listens to me all the time, is addicted, probably subscribes to the podcast, called you, and he had a kind of a unique situation. He wanted to liquidate his retirement, but if he did it a certain way, he was going to end up paying tens of thousands of dollars in taxes. And you guys were able to walk him through the process. He was able to reinvest his retirement in a better way, and you saved him nearly $10,000 in taxes. Explain how that happened. Welcome back, by the way.
Well, thank you for having me. We call it the financial blueprint. It's in our literature. We've mentioned it before on your show several times, and this is now in practice. And it helped, I don't know how many people, hundreds, if not thousands of people. Look, I'm not a CPA, but, I know standard, how IRAs work and what happens when you pull money out of an IRA versus how you can invest it inside it. So, Tony and his family is ecstatic, elated about the plan that I laid out before him after asking him maybe a dozen questions on what his goals are. And we were able to save him close to $10,000 in taxes and still doing all the things he wanted to do. He wanted to tithe. He wanted to do some things for his family, and he wanted to invest in gold. He's still able to do all those things, but, he was able to limit his tax liability.
Oh, that's so good. And friends, when you call David's team, 844-604-2575, you're just going to find that level of helpfulness. 844-604-2575. It's one of the reasons why I love the fact that they're with us on Money Mondays. And again, I don't give my stamp of approval on just anything that comes through the door. I'd be a much wealthier man if I did, actually. But I choose not to because my reputation is more valuable to me than my bank account sometimes. Hey, David, this herky-jerky economy. Now, I want to reestablish something for people. Last year, you called it. You said it's going to be a pretty steady rise all the way up, bull run in stocks and gold. You were 100% correct. As soon as the new year flipped over, you said, hang on, guys, this is a roller coaster. This is one of those things where we're going to be chugging up that side of the thing, and then all of a sudden it's going to go whee on the other side, and that's kind of where we've been. But you've linked it to some specific things, and we had, by middle of the day today, we were off 400-something points, but you called it last week. What in your mind, what is causing today's a little bit of indigestion in the markets?
Well, some of it's Facebook. Facebook is down close to 7% today. It's one of the largest drop in 5 years. They're having some problems with their data, and it looks like some of the data got leaked out prior to the campaign, and now they're being accused that maybe they helped support Hillary and all this. So that's a part of, and all the tech stocks are down as a result of that. That's part of this. Part of it is the Treasury bills have been being sold, and they get sold on the middle of the month by the Fed and also the end of the month. So as a result of what happened last Friday and the Fed selling Treasuries, Friday we were down, Monday we're down. This is going to happen month after month until the market finally factors all this in.
And every time it's going to be around the 15th, you're saying?
That's when Treasuries mature, on the 15th. And at the end of the month on the 30th.
And
so
this is part of that.
When the treasuries mature.
And this is part of that unwinding the balance sheet that you were talking about before anybody else.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So what else is going on? Is it going to be a smoother ride for the rest of the week? What can we expect?
Well, there's some uncertainty coming, Kevin. The Fed is going to talk on Tuesday and Wednesday. And Wednesday, more than likely, 95%. Chance analysts are saying they're going to raise rates. The question is, they're going to raise it 3 or 4 times, and it looks more like 4 than 3. So that is not good for the market when that happens, and the market's anticipating that. We're also towards the end of the week. We have a debt ceiling. If we don't raise the debt ceiling or create another kick the can down the road, we're going to have a default. So that has to be done. So that's weighing on the market a little bit, not as much, but the biggest thing is the treasuries are being sold by the Fed.
Yeah. Well, and people are paying attention. So I want to go back to where we started. Tony made this decision. My good listener, Tony, made this decision. And some people may be listening right now and they say, David, the markets are up and down. When is the right time to know if I need to get into gold? What would you tell them?
Well, when you have the emotion of your concern about the government's debt being $21 trillion and figure out there's no way to pay that down, and knowing that gold goes up as debt goes up, just since you have that emotion, that's the trigger in your spirit or your gut that tells you diversify. Get some gold in your portfolio, because last time when we had a 2008, and by the way, the Senate just passed the bill last week, Senate Bill 2155, that is going to take away the bank criteria that made us healthy again. Now those are all going away, 3 major ones. So this creates the incentive for banks to do 2007 all over again. It's insane what's happening. If we have time, we can talk about that. If not, next week we can.
Well, and so just so people are aware, they're setting the same table without the checks and balances on it that they had in 2000, or that they had since 2008.
Taking away the bank capital requirements, which was put into place from Dodd-Frank, taking away banks no longer needing to be put through a stress test by the Federal Reserve to see if they're healthy, and no longer putting them through a living will test to see what happens when they get unhealthy and they default, how you unravel it. Those 3 things were put in place by Dodd-Frank, which are very good things. There's some bad things in Dodd-Frank. Now those are being taken away if the president signs this bill into law, and more than likely he's going to.
All right. Well, friends, get more information when you call 844-604-2575. Call that number and request your financial survival guide for 2018. They're going to help you navigate this rocky roller coaster of an economy, and also register you for your chance to win that fabulous gold coin coming up March 31st. David Fisher, as always, it's a pleasure to see you. 844-604-2575.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer.
If you're in Manhattan trying to get to the outbound George Washington Bridge, well, good luck, my friends. It's not an easy task at all unless you know some sort of sneaky way to do it. Northbound West Side Highway, basically heavy off 12th Avenue all the way up to the George Washington Bridge. Now, Riverside Drive is a little bit of a sneaky way to do it, but a lot of folks know about that. A lot of folks seem to be bailing off of 96th Street and onto Riverside Drive, so north of 96th, Riverside Drive seems to be a pretty heavy alternative, too, but it is better than the West Side for sure. Northbound FDR Drive, we're slow from the 30s up into the 90s. More delays 150s to the GW Bridge. Overall, not horrible. Westbound Cross Bronx jammed up from the Bruckner on over. Deacon northbound slows RFK Triborough up to the Cross Bronx Expressway. In New Jersey, 45 minutes to an hour going back to New Jersey at the Holland Tunnel. And looks like 15 minutes on the city-bound side. Outbound Lincoln Tunnel, 20 to 30 minutes and 15 to 20 going into Manhattan. Northbound on the Parkway out of the Union Tolls up to 145. That's a stop-and-go ride in 22 West in Newark at Frelinghuysen Avenue, a crash. And now you know how not to go. I am Mike Barker on AM 970, The Answer.
Attention credit card holders. The secret that credit card companies don't want you to know is getting out. Thousands of people across the country are now settling their debts for a fraction of what they owe, thanks to National Debt Relief. The secret is that if you're struggling with or simply can't afford your monthly credit card payments, you now have the legal means to resolve your debt with your lenders, substantially reducing what you owe into one low monthly payment. You don't have to worry about bankruptcy or falling deeper into debt. You can now save thousands of dollars, even tens of thousands, and be debt-free faster than you ever thought possible. There are no upfront fees and satisfaction is guaranteed. If you're struggling with at least $10,000 in credit card debt, medical bills, private student loans, or personal loans, call National Debt Relief now for a free quote on how much of your debt can be reduced. Get this free life-changing information now by dialing 800-506-2760. 800-506-2760. That's 800-506-2760.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was always just sort of feeling tired. And so I said, maybe this will just help in overall vitality. But in the past couple of years that I've been taking it, I find my energy has been great. I've been sleeping better. I don't get the cravings for junk food as often as I used to. I really attribute it to the product. It's so easy to use. Even if I want to take a capsule for my daughter and I just pull it apart to mix it in some juice or something, it's just something I'm very grateful to be able to incorporate. I really love the product. I think it's made such a difference.
Generally feel better, generally have better energy and more stamina. Breathing is easier. Walking is easier. You're not in pain anymore, all right? I could go on and on.
When you call, use discount code The Answer, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code The Answer.
Jay Sekulow live is next on AM 970, The Answer. What you need to know when you need it. It's Kevin McCullough Radio.
All right, Kevin McCullough, glad to have you with us. Encouraging to see the president today addressing the opioid crisis. And I hope that in the next couple of days I'm able to bring you an exclusive. The undersecretary in the drug czar's office that is dealing with this used to be the undersecretary in the HHS office. Charmaine Yost is still a very good friend of the broadcast. And she's been keeping me kind of informed on the down low what this program is entailing and how it's going to be implemented for a while. And I've just thought that it's just stocked full of great ideas. And it is one of those things that the president ran on, and I'm trusting that he will make good on his promises to make a significant headway. I thought it was important that he went to New Hampshire today to make those announcements. Another interesting thing, and I put this up on the social media earlier this morning, actually. But and on Twitter and Facebook, and you can join all my social media by going to theBingeThinker.com. I've got all the icons at the top of the page, and it's easy just to click through and join and so forth. But I said I put up two signs, one a gun-free zone with a handgun, and a red dash through it showing that it's not allowed. And the other is a marksman holding a handgun, and it says, if you seek to harm our children, we reserve all rights to shoot to kill. And I said, straight up survey to everybody that was reading, no commentary here, just want to know, if your school board is reevaluating what they're going to do with their window space, which one of these two signs would you like to have in your school windows? And I was not terribly surprised with the outcomes, nor should I have been, but I guess I was a little bit surprised that there were at least a couple of people that said that when they had brought this decision, these signs up to their, because there's a lot of schools that have the gun-free zone signs already. But when parents had brought this up to their local school boards, they've been getting all kinds of pushback on it. Now, that doesn't mean every school is going to put a picture of a shooter pointing a gun and saying, if you harm our kids, we'll shoot your face off. I'd like them to do that. But friends, I could not find on social media one single person that answered my question, which of these signs you think would reduce gun violence in schools. I didn't get one vote in all of Twitter, in all of Facebook, in all of wherever. I didn't get one vote for the gun-free zone. It was a 100% option B polling. And that was a real poll, not like a President Putin poll. This is like just asking them straight. I didn't put any commentary to it. Just which sign do you think would stop more gun violence on school campuses? All of them said, I'll shoot your face off. Kevin McCullough, we'll see you next time.